Hey guys, in this video I will show you some simple tips and tricks with Cypher right here on bind, and we will start right here now when you are defending with these simple tricks. Firstly, this one is the simplest and I think the best one. There's plenty of other ways how you can combine it and other ways how you can do this. So for example, like these, if you want to block off this side, you can always do also this one. And there are other options like these as well. So some of these tripwires to hold these showers are gonna be the best, or you can do just an early one at the beginning of the round right here in the showers. Right here on short, there's plenty of ways that you can do that as well. You can always place one like this, you can do it even further. You can do the same thing from here on short. You can also use these little things on these doors. As you can see, you can even do it, for example, in the back. You can do one in the corner right here, and you can always strip, for example, like this from the truck to this wall as well, even further. So there's once again plenty of options for you that you can do. You can even use this vase that I should mention, or even this barrel, as you can see. So it can be very difficult for enemies, and you can always switch things up with other tripwires. Also, there's this little one. You can, for example, use these stairs. It really depends on you where you want to do it, and you can even do it closer, for example, like that. Moving on to B, I will show you firstly my two favorite ones. First, like this one, you want to do it like this, and the other one right here. They are pretty difficult to do, but if you do them like this, the enemies will be always caught, since no one would be expecting the tripwire to be right here, since the distance from one side to the other is pretty big, and those tripwires work the best. There's plenty of other options. You can always trip these sides, you can use it on these corners as well. For example, like that. As you can see, you can use them on this side for these walls, on the long area like that, or you can do them even lower, as you can see, for example, on these walls, so that way they're gonna be like this. And once again, there's plenty of options. For hookah, you can always go in as well if you want to be playing closer. You can use these little things on the floors. As you can see, they would be quite difficult to spot. And you can always do one like these. For example, this way should work fine as well. You can do it from one side to another, and as you can see, it's gonna be behind this way, so that way it would be difficult to break on this side, since they would not see the end of it, as well as on this side. On further, you can also use these spots just like that, since it would be pretty easy. You can combine, for example, these, and you can then later on wallbang through this wall. If you want to get really cheeky, you can always use, for example, this little balcony on the top, where the enemies, you might be thinking where they might be crossing, and if they jump through it and they get caught, they will be flying back up and down, and they have no chance of killing you. If you are in, for example, 1v1 situation, they should be a free kill for you. So let's move on to one-way agent, and firstly do these. You want to place your crosshair right above this dot, right in the middle of it, between those two walls, like there, and throw it. It's gonna land on this lamp. And for the other one, you want to place your crosshair right here on this spot. And as you can see, those are gonna work fantastically, and when the enemies are gonna push, you can activate them, and as you can see their legs right there under the cage. On chart, there's not that many one-way cages, but you can use your cages in order to give yourself advantage when the enemies run through the trips. So for example, one right here or one right here, and you can be playing behind them and waiting for the enemies to go through the tripwires. Very simply, just like that. On B, it's pretty much the same story. I would recommend doing one right here and one on this side. I like to play in the cube. And one of my cages, when one of the tripwires goes off, I either activate one of them, peek on the left, and you can wall back through these walls. And the same thing works right here on this other side as well. So that way it would be difficult for enemies to see you from where the bullets are coming from. And of course, you can do your cages, for example, like this, so that way it is much more difficult for enemies to push. However, I would recommend you doing one right here rather than all the way down, so that way it is covered perfectly. Cams on bind, there's plenty of them. For example, you can do one right here, on this thing where it would be very difficult to spot, and you want to just place it like that. And as you can see into the baths through this monk, so there it would be difficult to spot, and you can see the whole cubby there. You can also do your cam if you want to be more aggressive, for example like this. You want to do it right there, and you can see further on shirt. If you want to do it like that, you can do it on the other side, for example right here as well. Another one might be right here on this thing, for example, from where it would be very difficult for enemies to spot. However, it doesn't provide you much of an info early on in the round, so have that in mind. You can also do your cam, for example right here in this corner, so that way it would be difficult for enemies to spot you. You can see this shard. You can do it furthermore to the left. Once again, you can do your cam, for example, on these things as well. You can see a lot of shard, however you don't turn that much. Therefore, doing it, for example, on this corner can provide you much more info. On B, there's plenty of cams. For example, you can do this aggressive one, just like that, very simply, where you can see on the long all the way. You can do one in the back behind you, for example like this, and you can see all the way there. Once again, very difficult to spot. You can do it on the other side as well, so that way you see more of a long area. One of my favorite ones on B where I like to play with Cypher is right here. You just want to climb into the window already, get to the corner, and you want to place it as high as you can, like that. And as you can see, it's fairly hidden. You see, you get enough info of the enemies where they are, and they would never expect the cam to be right here. So have that in mind and try to use it in your advantage. And also, I should show you this cam right here, all the way up. You don't get that much info, but once again, very difficult to break. Enemies would never see it. And the same thing works for this spot right here. Once again, fairly hidden. You get enough info. You can see all the way in this spot where you will see enemies if they are very close, and you can see to the left enough. So if you combine it with, once again, those cages, these tripwires, you can be playing here waiting for enemies. You simply activate it, go for the wall bank. You can get yourself info where the enemies are pushing you from, and simply play in the backside. When attacking, don't forget to use your trips like this, so that way the enemies cannot jump over it, for example from these spots or from these. So do it right in the middle, right here, and make sure they cannot crouch under it and jump over it from any of these boxes. So this is a great spot to do it. Another one would be right here, just like that. Once again, the enemies cannot get through it, and it would give you a lot of info the enemies are flanking. Also, when attacking, use your cam, so that way you can gain info, for example on spots like these. You can use it pretty much as the Sova drone for you to gain info. When you're pushing, you can always throw your cages in these spots where you don't want enemies to peek you, and you can once again use it even to plant. So for example, doing something like this should work for you, and once again you cover a lot of area with these cages. When pushing B, you can do this at the beginning of the round. Immediately place your cam here and check if anyone's peeking. You can then just simply take it back, or you can even use it further to gain info if there's anyone holding you in garage. If you don't want the cam to be destroyed from the side, you can place it more to this spot. That way you would know if it gets broken that there's someone standing on this side and not on the other. And of course the same thing works for long as well as for the showers. So doing this works absolutely fantastic and gets you enough info for you. You can use your cage right here, so that way you can group up, you can take ARP, you can use your cam even when you're pushing further on. And once again, use your Cypher as it was the cam as it was a drone, or you can just simply hold flanks with it, and if it doesn't get broken, it can be helpful later on in the round as well. So yeah, that's simply about Cypher on Bind. Hopefully this video is gonna be helpful for you guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and see you guys soon. Bye.